Today's election day in Multnomah County, and lots of voters are dropping their ballots. And once the ballots are dropped in an official ballot drop site, we have 9 teams of what we call runners out in the field picking up those ballots from drop sites and bringing them back to a collection location where the ballots are put into trays, much like the trays you see behind me, faced all going the same direction. And this is the next stop for the ballots here in what we call the sorting room. And in the sorting room, we are looking at 2 pieces of security information on every envelope. There's a 9-digit unique identifier, a barcode on every envelope. And the first thing we're doing is scanning that barcode to make sure that it's a valid ballot envelope for this election. Even if you might have requested a replacement ballot, you would have gotten a second unique ballot identifier on that second ballot, and it would have inactivated the first one. So there's no way that somebody could vote 2 ballots, even if they returned 2 ballots. And then the second thing that these machines behind me are doing is they're capturing a digital image of the signature and then comparing that to the voter registration signature that we have on file. The machines behind me have some software that helps us do that signature comparison. And the software is looking for a 100% match. And if it doesn't see a 100% match, it kicks the ballots out into these yellow trays behind me. And then our experienced staff who are trained in forensic handwriting analysis look at those signatures and then compare them to any voter registration signature that we have on file. And the machines typically can verify about 50 to 60% of all the signatures at 100% match, and then our staff do the rest. There's going to be ballots coming in all day from the drop sites, and you can see the trays of ballots around me. Those trays get moved out of this room almost as soon as they go into the green trays, and they go on to the next step of opening. Our opening boards won't start until later this afternoon at 4 o'clock because there's 60 or 70 of those people working, and they go through the material really quickly. So we bring them in later in the day because we know they're going to be working late at night. And then from the opening boards, once the ballots are out of the envelopes, then they go to the tally room and get scanned into the tally machines. We've already scanned in over 400,000 ballots, and so those results will be released right at 8 p.m. tonight. We were up in the sorting room and seeing how the ballots get sorted and signature verified, and the stages they go through up there to make sure it's a valid ballot for the election. And then once they're all good, they go into the green trays, and there's about 400 ballots in each green tray. And they come down here, and the next step is taking the ballot out of the envelope. And so we have teams of people who are going to be doing that over the course of the night. They're probably going to be doing this into tomorrow. We anticipate a high turnout today. And so they're going to be taking the ballots out of the envelope and unfolding them and putting them in these boxes. And then the boxes will go up to the tally room. And what I was mentioning is we've already done this with over 400,000 ballots. Oregon's first all-mail ballot election was in the year 2000, and that was following a ballot measure in 1998 where voters were asked, do you want to vote 100% vote by mail? And the resounding answer was yes. I believe that ballot measure passed by 67%. And for the last 20 years, we've been conducting all mail elections in Oregon. And it's been very successful. It's super convenient for voters. They have 20 days to vote their ballot at home with no pressure. They don't have to go to a polling site on election day. They can vote the ballot in the comfort of their own home using resources that are available to them, whether that's the internet or the voter pamphlet that gets mailed to every household. And we believe that it's a much better way to vote than having to show up on election day in order to cast your ballot. Of course, there are people here today getting replacement ballots because that's also part of the process. We want to make sure that if folks need a replacement ballot, they have a place to go. So they can come here to the main elections office or to our voting center, which is out in Gresham. We're the only county in Oregon that has 2 polling places, if you want to call them that, under vote by mail. And so folks in Gresham can go to the Voting Center Express, or folks in Portland can come to our office.
Wow, goodness gracious.
Well, I tried to not spill it.
Put a little English on it.
Teams of runners go to all of 30 of our ballot drop sites and collect ballots from those drop sites. They then come here where we pour them onto these special facing tables and face them so they're all in the same direction. This allows them to go to the next step, which is being sent through our high-speed mail ballot sorter much more easily. You'll see the sorter room shortly, but the sorter scans the barcode and is able to verify that it's the correct ballot for the selection and all that fun stuff. Good job.
There's not anything different about this election other than the turnout. We've had high turnout for this election very early. We've been trending about 20 percentage points higher throughout the last 2 weeks than we did in 2016. It has dropped off a little bit in the last few days, but we still expect to see a big spike today on election day.